go through a bunch of stuff on objections, but we're just going to cover every single objection, how to take it all the way from that first objection into either an account one or an apology, which is a closing tactic, but we'll get into that. Okay, so you get an objection, okay? So you can get any objection. We're just going to do the same thing every time, okay? So you get an objection. I want to think about it. I don't have time. I need to talk to my wife, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're just going to do the same thing every time to start. You just put it aside, and you're going to tie down the value in what you offer does for them and their certainty around that, okay? No problem. How do you feel about the financial plan we just went over? Oh, I like it. Okay, what do you like about it? The answer, okay, and what part for you is really the key to the castle? And what would that do for you personally? Okay, and then for tie down logistics, like on every other offer than wealth management, this is a lot more nuanced and important, but you've already done this. If you've already went through an entire written financial plan, you have their statements, like you know their logistics, you already know what part of their money is locked up, etc. Right? So you can just kind of confirm that here. The whole point is that let's make sure they are certain and they see the value and they can move forward logistically before we go ahead and try to handle their objections, because it's pointless otherwise, right? So it's like you confirm that the value's there, you confirm they want to move forward and that they can. Okay, so with the understanding that it would get you to X, Y, and Z, like let's say they wanted to, I don't know, just live a better retirement and spend more time with their family and be able to travel. And we can do it logistically. What's coming up for you that's causing a bit of uncertainty? Okay, that's just start there. Super easy. It's going to basically, again, get them out of this scarcity, delay, I need to think about it mindset and into like, this is what I need. This is the results. Here's the value. This is why I need it. And I can move forward with it. Okay. From there, you're either going to go into another delay, which is like time or partner, right? So time could be like, I'm just too busy. I just want to think about it. We're just not ready. I don't make decisions on the spot. Partner, just more direct. I have a wife. I have a husband, business partner, both, whatever. Okay. So let's say they throw time at you. Okay. Just the same thing, right? Just throw it aside. Time aside. If you did have the time, would you do it? Like, do you feel like it would get you to XYZ goal? Okay. Why though? And what would that do for you personally? Okay. Well, can I share a bit of a different perspective with you on time? Most people share a common belief about time, which is that they'll eventually have more of it. Like right now, it's summer. Today's August 1st, and we're going to have time in the fall. But then school comes and the kids are going to that. And then you got Christmas and all those dinners and Easter and spring break. And then we're in the same spot 52 weeks, 365 days later. So I'm using 52 weeks instead of a year. I'm using 52 weeks because instead of looking at it as like one event, it's like, no, you had 52 weeks. You had 365 days where you could make a different decision, right? So Easter, spring, we're back in the same spot 52 weeks later. But for you right now, what do you feel like is a better way to look at it? So I want them, if they can, I want them to come up with the solution. Well, I feel like it's either now or never, because if I don't do it now, then I'm going to be busy tomorrow too. Okay, and why would that serve you better? The answer, right, because this is just a way to kind of explain this. You can do it however you want, but right, because we exchange our time for currency, which makes them equivalent. So if you stay in the same position, like overpaying in taxes, etc., what's actually costing you more time? A few hours here and there, like working towards your family's finances, or letting the problem persist, right? So the math equation there that I'm getting them to weigh out is like, if you're losing 50 grand a year in taxes right now, or your returns, or maybe you're losing your position to potentially lose a ton of money because you're in a bunch of risky stocks or whatever. It's like, if we work for a wage, then that's actually costing them more time than their time itself, right? And they're going to answer, okay. And then you can do this. So this is how you want to tie things down and kind of take the pressure off. And you don't have to chuckle, but you want it to do it in like a smooth, calm way. I like to kind of make it a little bit funny sometimes. You sure you don't want to kick the can down the road a bit? Okay, how would you like to proceed? From there, they're going to give you partner, or they might just tell you that they're just uncertain and they don't know, right? that's the only way it can go. So like they're going to give you a partner because no one wants to tell you they're uncertain, or they don't want to tell you they don't trust you, or they don't want to tell you they don't trust themselves, or it's a big scary decision. No one wants to tell you that. So they're gonna go to partner first, probably. Okay. So it goes to partner. Okay, partner aside, like, so we always put it aside, right? Until we know that we're dealing with the legitimate objection, we always can put it aside. Now, the way you do this is going to be different. So like, if we got, I want to think about it here, and then we got, I'm too busy here. And I've already done the, like, would you do it? Why? What do you feel like it would help you with? Why is that important to you? Etc. I'm not going to do that 10 times on each one, right? So I might do it 4 times here, once here, and then maybe once very briefly here. So partner side, if they were on board, like she was like, John, we're doing this. Would you actually do it? Like, do you feel like it would get you to the goal? Okay, why though? What would that do for you personally? So again, like I might just ask the first one. Would you actually do it? If I've already done it twice, right? Okay, and what would that do for you personally? Okay, so like out of curiosity, what happens if you go to her and you're like, hey honey, we need to do this. This will allow us to, travel, support the kids better, and reduce the tax bill a little bit. And she just says no. So what I'm looking for here is like, we want to know how the decision-making process works. So, and we already would like to know this. Like I wouldn't have asked this until we're into the objections, but I would have qualified how they make decisions in the discovery, right? So they're not going to answer the first time, basically. They're going to go, oh, I think she'd say yes. Or they're going to go, I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I feel like she'd be pretty supportive. She usually supports me. So you have to start light on the first time you ask that, and then you're going to get more creative and extreme and maybe funny each time you do it. Usually it takes like 3 tries, right? So they're going to go, I don't know. I think she'd be supportive anyways. Okay, well, like if she's having a bad day and like it's just not the day for her, and you go to her and you ask her, hey honey, we really need to do this, and she's like, absolutely freaking not. What happens then? I don't know, man. I don't know. No, she'd say yes. I think she'd say yes anyways. Okay, but like what happens if like what does your wife do for work? Oh, she's a nurse. Okay, what happens if Carrie is just being terrible? Like, Carrie, that woman from work that we all hate. What if she is just being the worst and your wife is the byproduct of her bad energy at work, and she just comes to you and she's had the worst day ever, and it's like, absolutely not. What would you do then? So I've looped them like 3 times probably to get a yes or a no. So I either want, I'm not going to settle until I do it anyway, or I would not do it. If they would not do it, guys, you schedule a call with the decision maker, okay? Or with the other decision maker. Like, you don't try to go against people's decision-making processes, okay? Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. You don't go against the structure that's already set in stone with their decision-making process, like with other people. I will show you how to actually challenge their decision-making processes in a bit, but we don't accept, like, we're not trying to get someone to move forward when their wife, they can't do it without their wife. We're not trying to get anyone divorced here, right? Now, all right, so let's say I do it. Okay, why would you do it though? Like most, you don't have to. They go, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then no matter what, we're gonna go here. So even if they say like, hey, it's 80-20, like I could do it, but I definitely need her approval. Like I would still go through this heavy as the head who wears the crown, this partner continued stuff, and then I would book the next call. But if it's like I would do it without her or without him or whatever, then we're gonna go through this and try to close them. Okay. So have you ever heard the saying, heavy is the head who wears the crown? Okay. The idea is that the weight of the crown at first glance would come from all the fancy gold and the silver and all the other elements they had going on. But the real weight comes from the responsibility of that king having to decide whether his men were going to war and how they'd approach it. He carried the responsibility of hundreds of thousands of lives and their families waiting at back home, right? Because as a king, it would not be fair to put that responsibility on anyone else. So for you, who's going to be the one doing all the finances and stuff, is that going to be you, or or sorry, you'd go. So for you, who's going to be the one actually handling the finances? Is that going to be you or your wife? Okay, it's them. Okay, so whose responsibility is it to put you in the best position to solve the problem and get the goal? And I would maybe name the problem and the goal. Okay, so do you think it would be fair to put that responsibility on anyone else? No? Why not? You could. Right, because what do you think happens if you take that responsibility and power you have and put it in the hands of people who don't necessarily have the same context and or skill set that you have? Bad things. Are you willing to settle for that? Are you sure? Okay, so what decision do you have to make to put your, oh, gotta expand that, sorry guys, your family in the best position to do X, Y, and Z? You either close them there, or no, I really want to do it. I really want to do it, man. I'm definitely gonna do it. It's just other concern. Once you've got that, we are into uncertainty. Okay, so we're in uncertainty, right? So it's either went from time to uncertainty, or they've tried to get another person involved, and we either get that person involved in the next meeting, or we empower them to do it without them. And again, like, you don't need to close them on the call. Like, let's say they're 100% the decision maker, and they're just like, man, I do make 100% the decisions. I will do it without her, but I do want to just tell her. I just want to tell her before we do it. Okay, do it, man. Let's book a call 2 days out. Like, you know what I mean? So we're into uncertainty / fear. Okay, we want to call it uncertainty. If you try to tell a prospect they're fearful, they're not going to like that, right? So we address it as uncertainty. Really, it's fear, right? Same thing. Okay, so you could use one of these things here. So they're like, they give you, no, I really want to do it. It's just, it's a big decision. It's a bit nerve wracking, right? I'm like, yeah, man, that makes sense, because well, you're actually seeking certainty, right? That this is actually going to get you the results 100%. Yep. Or you could say, yeah, that makes sense, because we all make decisions based on our current perspective, right? So I want them to buy into my world here. So this is called an agreement statement. So they're going to agree with what I'm saying, and then I can reframe the way they're thinking. Okay. So I have 3 analogies here. You probably have to use multiple. Some people you just use one and they buy. Some people you use all 3, or you use 10 and they just don't buy, and that's okay. So help them have a better perspective. Attempt 1. All right. If it's all right with you, can I ask you something real quick? Yep. Do you believe the way you think, like your decision-making process, plays a role in the choices you make? Yeah, definitely. Right. And would you say that you're completely satisfied with where things are currently when it comes to like the finances and stuff? Honestly, no. Got it. So how much longer are you going to allow that decision-making process that's gotten you to this point to continue driving the results you get moving forward for you and your family? Not much longer. Yeah, but how long? 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? Not another day. Okay, then how would you like to proceed? Now, what's going to happen is I want a time frame. How much longer are you going to let that decision-making process continue to dictate your results? They're not going to give me an answer. They're going to go, not much longer. And I'm going to go, but how long? Well, not much longer, man. I just said. Okay, yeah, but of course not much longer. But like 2 days, 2 weeks, 10 years? Like, what's it going to be? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, not much longer. Okay, but like if you actually thought about it and just put a quantitative data piece on this, how much longer are you going to let the decision-making process that has gotten you to A, B, and C problem persist? So I need an answer, okay? Now, once I get my answer, okay, how would you like to proceed? Because they're not going to say 2 months. If it's 2 months, we have more analogies to do. But I'm looking for no longer, not another day. That's where they're usually going to go. Okay, great. How would you like to proceed? Attempt number 2, they go, I don't know, I just want to think about it. All right, imagine you're living on an island. It's all you've ever known. You've built your life there. You've made decisions based on what you can see. And all around you in every direction, it's just water. 17.1 miles of it, everywhere you look. That's your whole frame of reference. Every move you make is based on that limited view. But here's the reality. The food is running out. You've known for a while that things can't stay like this forever. And now, almost out of nowhere, you stumble across something that you haven't seen before, which is a small boat. Now you have the choice. You can stay on the island where things are slowly breaking down and things aren't good, or you can get in that boat and start paddling. Even if you don't fully know what's out there. Like there's going to be sharks in the water. Like you do know there are risks out there. You just don't know what they're going to be like. The truth is, the mountain, that the better view, the clearer picture, the bigger life, it's not just on this island. It's out there beyond what you can see from the shore. The only way to reach it is to believe it's there, trust your gut, and start moving. So what do you feel like you need to do right now to give yourself the best chance of reaching that mountain? Jump in the boat or just stay on the island? So that would be shorter if I was actually saying it. I just typed it out so you can hear it, like the details. But you can make up your own analogies too. If you want to just feed that analogy to ChatGPT and be like, give me 10 other analogies to help people with uncertainty, you can. Because all I'm trying to get them to understand is there is no such thing as certainty. There's no such thing as a guarantee. Well, actually, there's two. You can use this joke. There's no such thing as a guarantee aside from dying and paying taxes. You can guarantee those two things, but nothing else, man. Right? Okay. How do you want to proceed from here? I just don't make decisions on the spot, man. I just don't know. I'm still nervous. All right. So the truth is, every one of us makes decisions based on the perspective we currently have. That's just how we're wired. But the really hard part, the thing that most people never figure out, is learning how to make decisions based on the perspective of where we want to be, not where we are now. Think about it like this. Someone who's overweight isn't just overweight because of genetics or bad luck. Most of the time. They're overweight because they're consistently making the choices an overweight person makes. Their decision-making process around food, fitness, lifestyle, it's built around their current identity. But here's the key. They don't become fit by staying in that mindset. They become fit the moment they start making the choices a healthy person would make. Long before the body changes, the mind has to change. The identity has to shift first. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right, so what choices do you need to start making now in order to step into that perspective, that identity, to get the results you actually want for you and your family? Okay, you could do another one, like, doesn't matter. You're gonna know, like, you'll know when the clock is done. It's just like, okay, this person is out of energy, or I have another call coming up, or whatever. At a certain point, like if you do the math, you're better off to just give up and follow up in 6 months, because you could make more money by calling leads in the next hour open on your schedule rather than spending another hour with this person who is not likely to move forward. Okay. So either they buy, you move them forward, you know what to do from there, or they don't. They're still not ready. If they're not ready, guys, after like 3 analogies, like you spend a lot of time in fear, maybe 20-30 minutes in fear, and they're just not ready, you're going to do this. You're going to go, hey man, I understand. And I appreciate your transparency, and I just want to apologize for not being able to help you today. I feel like the situation you're in, like as we discussed, is not necessarily ideal for you, and I wasn't able to help you get around that today. And then you're going to end it. That's it. You don't have to schedule a follow-up, nothing. If you schedule a follow-up, it's still needy, right? We're pulling away, and either they're going to be empathetic. They're going to be like, no, man, it's okay. You're awesome. Like, it's great. This was amazing. Like, and either they're going to open up again and you can kind of try to close them, or you end on a great note and you're going to follow up with them whenever it makes sense, but you don't schedule it or tell them you're going to. You just leave it there. And they might reach back out to you.